Hello, I'm Max Howard, one of the producers.
Hi, Tony Leondis, the director.
Hi, Chris McKenna, the writer.
I don't think you'll mix up our voices. I have a very high voice, Chris has a very deep voice.
And I have a little English voice.
So we started the movie with clouds, because clouds are our theme. It's kind of a motif we use throughout the movie, and they kind of, I'm assuming people have seen the movie, so I'm not ruining anything, but it's about how the cloud...
I'd be so sad if they're watching it for the first time just with the audio commentary. They dive right in.
If you are, you're on the wrong track. You picked the wrong menu item.
Exactly. So we go through clouds. It's a motif in our movie. Basically, the king has been keeping the people in the dark is kind of our big metaphor for the movie. So then we start to set up Malaria, our land. And I'll tell you, this opening, we didn't have a lot of time to do some things over and over again, but this opening we had to redo once or twice because it's a lot to set up. Right, Chris?
Yeah, it was a challenge. I think we're still working on it, right? No. I still wake up in the middle of the night and write down ideas. No, I think we tried it a few different ways. You know, we wanted to start off at one point with a scary scene that turns into a comic scene and then gets more information out. And then there was just a lot to set up. The Malaria backstory, Igor, the characters. It's a deceptively simple idea.
Yeah. So, I mean, Chris, in the original script, started with a public service announcement. So we even had that for a while, like, Malaria, come and be part of the power. And then that didn't work. And then our scary opening, we had a scary opening that might be on the extras, but it's kind of this all through a cemetery. And it was like 2 minutes in this dark, evil cemetery. And actually, you can see a little of the cemetery here. We kind of pieced together to make it a little, but with the cemetery opening was not very accessible. People got too afraid. It was hard to come back from that and be like, hey, it's a comedy. So we ended up kind of just telling the story through images that we had. And so we learned about Igor, how he always wanted to be an Igor, that kind of stuff.
I think we finally landed on the best opening. I mean, it uses a lot of the stuff that we were trying in other openings, but, you know, it's a voiceover from Igor, our main character. You instantly listen to him. We get some of the funny, the fun stuff of Igor's school, his backstory.
We had an opening where the kids, those drawings are actually from, we used to have an opening where we were in the Igor school with Igor, and we saw him secretly studying evil plans and wishing he was at the science university instead of the Igor school. But again, it just took us away from the story. We just had to get into it quickly.
It was always a balance of getting into the story, but also not getting enough information out so that people understood the world and the characters.
So this is the first time we get to see the John Cleese character.
Oh, that little interview piece, though, it was originally written as that was going to be a teaser trailer, and then when we were trying to in post trying to put together an opening that worked, we pulled on that teaser.
Yeah, it actually goes back before that because we needed to do an animation test.
Yeah.
Just to see how the character was going to work, and we did that, and I think we sent it to you, and then somebody said, well, why don't we do something, and we can actually put it out there virally and get some attention. And then right at the end, when we were looking for something to make the whole opening work, that came back and we put it into the movie.
That was fun being able to use that.
So here, something that we established very quickly is our color theory. And down in Igor's room, we see that they're all kind of blues and very monochromatic, except for that a little bit of orange. And in our movie, orange is the color of hope. And that's why Eva, the monster, is the color of orange. And the more she gets into the movie, the more we bring in the oranges. So Olivier Besson and I, he's the art director, we kind of stripped the movie of sun-y orange. So even all these reds don't really feel like a yellowy red, except for Igor's patches on the back, because he still has a little hope. And so orange, we've assigned that to the color of hope, and we can talk about that as the movie goes. And here, John Cleese brilliantly is playing Dr. Glickenstein. He's so freaking funny.
And I love the design that you guys did for him. Isn't there like a crocodile theme?
Yeah, he's based off of a crocodile. You can see like the costume. It's like the stomach of a crocodile and the scales, and even his head is kind of a silhouette of a crocodile. So throughout his castle, you can see we have like a crocodile staircase and a little crocodile motif going on. His body is long and lean like that, almost like a crocodile. And he moves in very jumpy movements. So even in the animation, we have slow and then snap for a crocodile. Igor's costume, I really love telling the story in costume, and we had a beautiful character designer named Valeria Dida, who, Olivier Besson, really embraced the idea of tell the story in every image. And so Igor, he's in stripes, he's in a straitjacket, because basically in this world his hands are tied, so it's kind of a version of a straitjacket. He has handcuffs on, so it's all symbols of being in prison. and the introduction of Scamper, brilliantly played by Steve Buscemi.
Oh, and these freeze frames we did in post that I think really help set up these characters.
Since he doesn't want to live.
Yeah, we needed time to set up the characters without just rushing through, because this is such a weird world that we set up, that we just noticed that when we showed a movie to people, they were like, I don't have enough time to get them. So we came up with this narration thing, and John Cusack just hits it out of the park.
Here's an example of you need to watch during the film. You see the brain words on the jar right at the beginning. You know, we really wanted to see that it said the word brain, but at the same time, we didn't want to be continually distracted by it during the rest of the movie. So it just is toned down in a lot of the other scenes that follow.
Mm-hmm. We darkened it just for this joke. Oh, Brian. And then when he rubs it off, then we go back to where we had it. Yep. Sean Hayes, brilliant as Brain. I mean, everything he says is funny. We had great talent here. His design, we wanted to do something different with the mouth, so we got this electrical current thing going. And again, we have to set up, you know, Glickenstein is going to lose the science fair, so it's all exposition, and you try to do it with a spoonful of sugar, so it kind of helps the medicine go down kind of thing.
Goodbye, Snarfog.
Yeah, we used to have a joke here, Snarfog.
People loved it, and then it just wasn't playing as well as we liked.
Or he says, fine, you're jealous. Like when I came up with that new word for goodbye. Well, Snarfog, Igor, Snarfog forever. And as if he made up goodbye, and then it just never played, so I got rid of it. So now here
Sean is great.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I was just going to say, Sean, he really improvised a lot of very funny stuff. He's really got a great comic.
He just came in and was so great. Yeah.
Mind.
Mm-hmm. And Steve Buscemi brilliantly as Scamper. Here we start the whole Scamper trying to kill himself because he doesn't. Death number 3 because he doesn't think life has any meaning. And then at the end of the movie, he has a beautiful arc. He finds meaning in life and he wants to live. So he kind of has a really nice arc. And here this is Igor's I Want song, if you're doing the classical musical structure. This is his I Want, what I want. Then we cut to Dr. Schadenfreude's castle, and I showed the artist pictures of the Liberace's museum in Las Vegas. Really tacky, and because they didn't know who Liberace was. Could you imagine a life without knowing?
It must have been hard for you to dig those up.
Oh, yeah. I had them in my wallet, so they just kind of fell out. And so we wanted it to look like a big chandelier, just like a big tacky, to show that he is like just tacky. And I wanted dancing fountains in the front, like in Las Vegas, but that was one of the things, budget. It's really hard to do water, and so we didn't end up doing it. But I love this setup. Chris had this in the script, which is you show Schadenfreude as this tortured, like Captain Nemo playing the piano, and then ta-da, he's really doing a show. And Eddie Izzard plays Dr. Schadenfreude brilliantly. He's a mixture between Elton John and Marilyn Manson, we always said, and you can kind of see him here.
And it was really fun. When Eddie came in, he wanted to do this accent, and I think it's turned out so, like, it's sort of like this kind of Euro trashy, fun accent that I didn't expect, but I think really worked well.
Absolutely. He sort of grounds the world with that accent. Like, oh, it is in somewhere in Europe. I don't know how he did it, but it just works beautifully. Jay Leno is the king. So funny. Came in as, I see him as the great guy who's like smiling and friends with everyone, but then maybe has a secret. I don't know if Jay has any secrets.
Politicians have secrets.
Politicians have secrets. Of course, Jennifer Coolidge was Jacqueline, but we'll talk about her more, and I'll fawn over her in the next scene.
We're pickle makers. So, what's your evil invention?
So here we set up that, this is a tricky story because we have two villains. We have the king and we have Schadenfreude, so we had to put them in conflict. So we had to set up that the king is afraid Schadenfreude is going to take his place. Christian Slater did a cameo for us as that little Igor. He loved the script, he loved the movie, so he came in and did a little cameo, and he just knocked it out of the park. Jennifer Coolidge, the funniest. I mean, come on. Baby Seal Boots. She didn't want to do Baby Seal Boots because she's really into animal rights, the Baby Seal Boots joke, but she just, every line she does, she knows how to turn a line and give it its own take. So this room, I wanted it to be like, because we have to set it up like a lab, and so our production designer, Loic Rastou and Vincent DeMasi, and we set it up so it's like a lab. It looks like a lab, and then when you hit a button, everything disappears, and it's just this shiny white empty hall like Schadenfreude's soul. It's just like this emptiness.
You don't have the guts.
Anyway, so that's where that idea came from. And this slapping thing, in the very original script, Schadenfreude and Jacqueline used to slap each other and then make out, but that was a little too harsh, and so we turned it into slapping the Igor, which turned out to be much funnier.
Still mad at me?
You can see in the costumes Jacqueline Heidi, like Jekyll and Hyde. We have that little homage. She's basically a snake. She dresses up like different people to get what she wants. And so she's all about snake patterns. So in all of her costumes, you can see snakes woven in. And this, I wanted it to, again, we wanted a little Marilyn Manson, kind of old movie star. So that's why he has the black around his eyes.
Love it.
Yeah, real kind of old.
Hi there! Look, it's your little girlfriend.
Jennifer Coolidge as Heidi. I mean, here she just is so funny as the little girl from the mountaintop. The busty kind of big girl who comes down and is all wholesome and like a milkmaid. And she's really just trying to steal the plans for the invention for Schadenfreude.
But I love some of the expressions on her face sometimes just has that kind of bovine look to her, like particularly
Absolutely.
like, just, like some of her just hilariously dumb expressions on her face.
Jennifer Coolidge is just so funny that anything we could do to get the animators to like look at Jennifer Coolidge stuff and the way she moves her face and the restraint she uses, but the choices are just so interesting. Actually, an interesting thing, the crocodile motif for Glickenstein was also worked into a time motif because he used to make a time machine in the old version. So that's why you can see all of these sprockets and wheels, because it was like the inner workings of a clock. And so that's why we had that everywhere. And then he just ended up in the movie too long because until you get rid of Glickenstein, Igor can't go on his journey. Act 2 can't begin. The hero can't kind of enter that world. So we had to kill him off fast.
Not that it was so funny because what happens is Glickenstein goes back in time a minute and discovers Igor and Scamper and Brain and then runs into his old self, and then the two of them decide
team
they
up
team up to
against
kill
Igor.
It just didn't get us to the monster. It was fun, but we needed to sort of move
We needed
along
to
through
off
Act
him
1.
faster.
Yeah.
It was a shame. It was really funny. And people who've seen the movie like, oh, I still miss the John Cleese scene, but the movie's better for it. You just can't put all those things in. Even now it takes a long time to get to the monster. As soon, we were always like, come on, get to the monster. So now it seems like a good balance. You get enough of John Cleese being just funny. And he takes the line and just knows how to just play it and tweak it and just make it great.
Yeah, with real menace.
Yeah.
Finally. Now I can throw out that rug in the foyer. That thing is hideous. We were all thinking.
Steve Buscemi, brilliant.
Oh no, who's that? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna
Relax. This is
We started with Louis Prima, as you can tell. We wanted Louis Prima to be kind of a little bit of a voice for Igor, and we started with one song and then another, and then pretty soon we discovered that Louis Prima's songs kind of helped tell Igor's story and became a little voice to Igor, so we can talk about that later. But our score was written by Patrick Doyle, who is my favorite composer in the whole world, just a genius. Wrote the most original, interesting cues for us and motifs, and his stuff can really break your heart.
Just something technically on the set here, when we were looking at setting up the whole film and what sets we needed to build absolutely in 3D and what we could do as either a matte painting or just a 180-degree set. This one, because we spend so much time of the movie in this location, that this whole set is built in 360. We can see every single angle of it.
We weren't able to do that for the whole movie, and there's no need to, so you really just pick and choose. And here you can see that the king is kind of like an armadillo and a cockroach. He's got a hard shell like an armadillo. He kind of survives everything, and he's like a cockroach because he's just a sleazy politician.
Is there any influence of Peter Lorre and Igor? There's certain angles where I feel like there's a Peter Lorre quality at times in the early part of the movie.
Absolutely.
Like the pale and
You're right. There is a little Peter Lorre. The trick was always, how do you make him cute, but not so cute because he's an Igor.
Yeah.
And we just wanted him to be not the typical cute little hero. He has to be cute enough, but also a little odd looking.
We spent a long time on that nose, didn't we?
Absolutely. Bigger, smaller. John Araklis, the founder of Exodus, came in and was like, I think his nose is too small or too big or something. And when we made that little tweak, he was right. It kind of really just kind of made him super cute.
Yeah, it was all about making him accessible, making you have empathy with this character.
Yeah.
My favorite line in the movie coming up?
Oh, such a controversial line. People love it.
Wow, how interesting. What's next? You're gonna pull out a guitar and play us a song you wrote in college about being misunderstood?
It's
Just-
great.
just love that
People
line.
love it, or people are like,
Really?
well, it's
That's
so,
my.
it's
That's
so
my. I
odd.
just think
that's
it's
so
such a
funny.
funny line. It says so much.
Now, this was put
controversy.
together. This was a surprise that Hervé Schneid, our editor, who's a brilliant editor, he edited like Amélie and Delicatessen, and he kind of put this together with the screams for us, and he showed it to me one day, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is showing how great editing can like take stuff and just make it like killer. So we got a little jump, jive, and wail, a little more Louis Prima. You can see the orange. You can see it's like we haven't really used it that much.
Ah, wait, what was that sequence?
That used to be, Eva used to be a man, and then Brain here, that used to be in the jar, handled with care. It used to be a body part that Brain made too big and it exploded, and so then Igor says, great, I guess I'm making a girl monster now. So, but we couldn't do that. Had to take it out. Now here you can see a little mistake. We have a little blooper. See, the finger is cut off here. And then it was not in the big scene. And I was like, Max, the finger. And Max is like, Tony, no one's ever going to notice that. You were right. You were right. And then you
Now
said,
that
well,
bothers me, though.
Yeah, now you'll know. Now you'll never watch the movie again without seeing it.
here we had to establish that Igor's skin is indestructible for a later scene. Eva. Because later on it ricochets and from Schadenfreude. And you can see there's no straight lines in the movie. Everything is kind of a little off and asymmetrical, and that was really our style. I wanted it to be a little off and pieced together, kind of like a monster is pieced together. So we have a lot of that Dr. Caligari feel and all those great classic Frankenstein movies. I love the animators came up with that they bow and behind the evil bone.
That's funny.
And I was like, oh, that's so funny. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Like, as the process goes on, everyone just pluses it at their stage. And these animators worked really fast. Christelle Jolin and Yoshi Tamura were the heads of animation, and they just worked so hard. I think Yoshi must have thumbnailed the whole movie in little thumbnails. This is our classic Bring to Life.
Pull the switch!
Do not yell at me.
We're waiting for the punchline. We're not talking.
Yeah, I know. That's
Yeah.
sort of that's the whole movie, though. In that moment, you know, it really is. You know, playing with we all loved the classic monster movies, but we wanted to just sort of tweak it and do a comedy set in that world. So that definitely is the sort of one of the quintessential moments of of what we were going after.
Right, you take a classic, pull the switch, and then you totally do it in a different, ridiculous, silly way.
Yeah.
So here we have the lightning. Of course, in a monster movie, you have to see the castle being struck by lightning and all that stuff because that's the fun of it. We were always in this movie balancing between, is it too scary? Is it not scary enough? Because it's a comedy, but you also want the moments to be real and have a little bit of creepiness. And so it was always trying to find that balance, and I'm happy with the way it turned out.
Particularly with a character, well, like both of them. Like Scamper, he can be the guy who's constantly making obnoxious quips on the side, and because he's got nothing to lose,
Right.
and nothing to live for. So he can be the thorn in the side who can say those things. And then Brain, of course, is just not too bright, and he can say a lot of very dumb things.
Right.
So, what was great about Igor and John Cusack's performance, I think, is it really he's not a wacky main character, bumbling fool. He really feels, hopefully, like a real character who has real dreams and
He
is
takes the
confidently
journey. He had
beset.
he had to take the journey seriously.
Yeah.
He had to. I think that was that's a great point. He had to really want it, and we have to believe that he wants it for us to go with it. That's a really good point.
I've read about that. And, Who am I kidding? I can't read!
I love Sean Hayes doing that line. These guys crack me up.
Sean, pretty much anything
I
he
know.
says, even a straight line.
Here's a little homage to the opening
Yeah.
of Frankenstein, or the first time we see the monster, it's from behind in the original Frankenstein, so that was a little James Whale homage. Oh, here's an interesting thing. We actually built the hole in the wall wrong. And we were like, how do we get her to run now? We built it in the opposite. We flipped it. We did it from the outside or something, and we couldn't really go back and fix it. So we're like, okay, Eva has to just back up and do it.
It works. I was wondering that, though, if
Yeah.
that was a conscious choice.
No.
I love this. I love the really getting a good look of this forest because it just has a great big feel to it.
Yeah. Really, our art director, Olivier, who I call him Monsieur O, I don't know why. This is
Blind Orphans.
Blind Orphans getting killed. This is there's a Caspar David Friedrich, I think is his name, but I saw this one painting that he did of this old cathedral in the forest, and I kind of wanted that I thought that would be a good inspiration for. So this section, we had some great designers. We had Vincent Massy de la Chesneraye. I may have pronounced that wrong. It's very French. And we had another brilliant designer, Mathieu Gosselin. And they just did so with Loic Rastu did such a great job.
Blind Orphans Get Everything, I believe, is a Sean Hayes ad lib.
One of my favorite lines in the movie, Blind Orphans Get Everything. I mean, that's so crazy.
And, the Blind Orphans, obviously we wanted, what would be the most horrible thing that she would be destroying, but it's also an homage to, the Frankenstein movies with, Frankenstein monster coming across the little girl, and also, the blind hermit.
Exactly. It's kind of a merge of those. It was a great. So here you can see the orange, the color of the sun emanates from Eva. This is a great example of it's almost there's a little glow on her. And so you really feel like, oh, she's almost starting to represent the sun. And as the movie, she gets more and more into the movie and things get more hopeful, then it's more obvious. Christian Slater, so funny as that little Igor.
Now, to break into Glickenstein's castle.
This is one of my favorite Jacqueline costumes. Schadenfreude and Jacqueline always have different costumes. And I used a lot of Vivienne Westwood as inspiration because she really merges time periods together, and I didn't want this to feel like a specific time. I wanted it to feel like it could be any time, like a magical time. So you can see the patterns and the metals on him and her. We have a little pop of 60s, a little pop of, you can see the pattern is 60s, but it's also like scales of a snake. So even that, we kind of use the snake, but in a pop 60s kind of way.
Wow. So not only is every other evil scientist smarter than you, and Igor...
I love that's how he goes out. I love that outfit.
That's how he what?
That's how he goes out.
Oh, yeah, sure. I would if I had it.
If you could only pull that off.
If I could pull it off. I don't have that waist. He had the glasses were, he always has a different pair of glasses. This is a fun homage again to Monsters with the flowers but Chris, you had these great lines that just put a great twist on it. I just love it.
This is obviously it's such a pathetic moment for him, and the Louis Prima music really, I think, plus that.
So great. And this shot, one of my favorite in the movie. It's just simple and flat and
so
graphic,
German expressionistic.
Yeah. We really wanted.
That was your nod to Ingmar Bergman, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I really wanted to. It's when you make a movie this size, your time is a little bit of a concern, so you don't get to light everything as much as you'd like. And so we had to actually pick one light source for each sequence rather than shoot each one individually. And so it was really a challenge to pick the right perfect position of the light source for every sequence. And I think it turned out great. I think it really it's very hard to do, and our team really pulled it off.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until you told me that recently. Particularly we're talking about the chase sequence, how the difficulties in lighting that with one light source.
It's crazy. It's crazy. We had such talented people. The French artists, they used to work for Disney in Paris.
You were saying?
Funny enough, Max trained them. Max got them all together in Paris.
Yeah, I think, you could talk about how we originally set up the film and chose the studio there. And it was really, we made the film in Paris at Sparks Animation. And it was really because there's a lot of great talent in Europe, but there's a great heritage of Disney animators there. And so we put together this excellent team that created at the same time this very different look and sensibility for the film. Mm-hmm. In fact, we got a good story, haven't we, Tony, about when you first came onto the picture and wanted to, bring people that you'd worked with before and take a team with you to
Absolutely.
to Paris.
I wanted to bring my team that I worked with on my last movie, and I was like, I can't do this movie without them. And then I started meeting these French people, and it was like, oh my gosh, they're so talented, they're so wonderful. So I was like, okay. They're talented too. they're unbelievably talented. They shocked us and surprised us and stepped up. And anyway, so this brainwash.
Can I say? I remember before you came on the movie, there was the idea that he was going to try to brainwash her. And he set up something in the castle to brainwash her. I remember with all the great ideas you brought to the script. No, but turning this into a thing of the brainwash, like a car wash. It was just such a fun idea, and really opened up this whole sequence, to make it just really.
It was a chance to have a really fun set piece, and so it looks like kind of like a 50s, 60s car wash, but in our world still. So that was always the challenge. And this room, I wanted it to be like an insane asylum. So it was like padded cells.
Oh, and one thing, I remember when you were far along in production, you were thinking we should do as many movie monster references as possible. What can we put in the brainwash? And then we came up with, we should do the fly. We'll have the big fly tenant and a little fly there. And of course, you're working on these things out of sequence, and then you realize the scene right before that, there's the kill the fly sequence, and then you're suddenly going into another fly
Is that
scene.
the same fly people we were asking?
You know what, though? I don't think, no one mentioned it.
Exactly.
And
you just kind of...
Maybe you at home will mention it.
Well, we
Write us
used
a
to...
letter.
I think
Perhaps that's the question.
Yes, exactly. Write us in. I mean, I think we used to have a sequence in between there. And then we got rid of that sequence.
Oh, outside.
I think there was a little
yeah.
sequence or something. And then we were like, oh my gosh, 2 flies. But no, this is...
And I was like, oh, we'll turn into it. We'll do it. She'll try to kill a spider.
Right.
And then I was like, no, we can't build a spider.
We
and
can't
you know
build, we
what?
don't have a spider built.
That's
it was
the incredible
fun.
thing. I mean, is just the pace. You know, obviously the pace. This was like, you know, a bullet train out of Dodge that you get. You know, but like the fact that it looks as incredible.
We
as it
really
does.
had so many dedicated people working hard to pull this off because it was such an accelerated time frame. I mean, 1/3 to 1/4 of the time of the regular animated film. So we really had to just go with our guts and make decisions and not a lot of backtracking. And I think there's a freshness to the movie. It doesn't maybe feel so studioized, maybe. I don't know.
It's a nice
I'm
word.
hoping.
Studioized.
Even though I love
Yeah, I
it.
mean, we had a finite amount of money, finite amount of time, which of course anybody does on any movie, no matter what the budget is. And I think it's how you spend that money. And every day, what was I saying, Tony? We made the movie better today, and
Exactly.
we really
Yep.
try to. Mondays was all about inventories. There work for people to do. Are we ready to, and try and get as much money up on the screen and make the movie quickly and, let the director have his vision for the movie.
Well, that's something that I appreciated. You, Max, and John Orakos and John McKenna, our brilliant line producer, who I don't know how he pulled this off, but really the decisions were made creatively. It wasn't made by budget, right? I mean, it was like you were very clear about, okay, if we have this budget, where do you want to spend the money? So we all would get together and decide it creatively rather than, nope, you just can't have it.
Yeah.
So we made our decisions.
We had
So caviar lunches. That's where it went.
Yes, right. So we got something really interesting coming up, and then we got James Lipton coming into the film, which was just fantastic. But the way we found out about James Lipton accepting the invitation to be in the film, because we just put out feelers for him to see if he was willing to do it, was he announced it on his show when he was interviewing John Cusack about his acting
we
career.
Didn't know he
and
was
suddenly he
take
produced
it.
a script and led John Cusack down this pathway of reading the lines from this scene, and then announced that he would be in the movie with John Cusack. So not only was that great publicity for an independently produced animated film, but it was a great way for us to find out he'd accepted the role.
Absolutely. So great. I mean, he just makes it. Axe murderer to actor studio. It's such a great little play on words, even though we couldn't literally say it, but you get it.
Maybe they did too much.
Now, something in the previous scene, there's the massage chair, there's the cards, everything you'd see in a brainwash. If you look, even the coffee maker, we designed a coffee maker. We designed all these beautiful, Mathieu Gosselin designed all these beautiful props and coffee makers, and so it feels like a coffee maker in our world.
One of my little favorite things up on the wall there, just at the side of the screen, is Employee of the Month.
Right, right. It's a little homage, Jeff Goldblum, so we named him Jeff the Fly, little fly thing.
Yeah, and I don't know if this was conscious, but people mentioned to me the Buzz Hoffman, the guy who runs the place.
Played by Paul Vogt.
He looks like Vincent Price.
He does look a little like Vincent Price and a little like John Waters. He's a little bit of the creepy, absolutely. He's a little of a creepy guy, creepy fly guy.
But Vincent Price obviously was in The Fly, the original Fly.
Absolutely. John Waters it just happens to look like John. So here we have some of Molly starting to be the actress, which I feel like when she comes on the screen, when she is alive and starts becoming this actress, the whole movie opens up in such a fun way and really delivers on the premise. Oh, here she's doing her elocution exercises. She is the funniest in that booth. She has the ability to transport herself there. It's amazing.
Yeah, watching her just really work at it, like she just really gets
She's
into
committed.
it.
So you can see we used to have clock things on the wall because this was Glickenstein City. We used to have, Chris, remember the early version, there used to be 13 different cities. Each
Villages,
scientist had its own village, and so they all had their own theme.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
That's what it
and so
was.
we actually couldn't, we just made it one village because that's, we didn't even need it. We didn't even really need it. This is a fun way to do it.
I get it, I overwrite.
No, you're right.
No, but it's tough. There were so many ideas you just had to boil down at a certain point.
Yep.
And simplify.
So here we wanted to bring a little excitement, a little fun action to it. And so we have this carriage chase and we have this pipe, and all this was pretty much designed by Matthew and just did a beautiful job.
Yeah, I
And
remember you
Lois-
coming on saying we need a big chase sequence here.
Yeah, something.
And then set me off.
Yes.
Go away, write something.
Go away and write it, please, in 3 hours.
It was great. I think like an action sequence here was definitely just a great, fun way to just see the world and obviously get some action.
Yep. So we get to show the shrink ray, and here was a chance to use some fun camera. We didn't really use crazy camera moves, but we thought in the chase scene we could do some fun camera work. We brought on this guy, Antoine, who kind of did the camera and gave some great ideas on how we can really just go crazy here.
Didn't we have a father and his son standing at the corner?
Oh, yes,
got
we
shrunk?
did.
What was that?
It was a funny joke.
There was a joke there.
The kid was like, "I'm an adult now, Dad," and
Yeah, you can't treat me like a little kid, and then he gets shrunk down to the size of a little kid, and then starts crying.
yeah. Then we discovered it was just too much. It was just
Yeah, I think we wanted no gags, we wanted some action.
It felt
I
like
think
it
that's
felt
right.
like very gaggy.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah, we want to be reminded here that there's something at stake here.
Yes.
That John Freddy's it is a serious chase, and Igor's about to be discovered and unmasked, and therefore, if that happened, he'd be on his way to the recycling plant.
and you already are undercutting it with the fun Molly thinking that it's paparazzi.
Right. Great. Such a great joke, Chris. I remember when you wrote that, I was howling. So great.
There I go. Oh, my beautiful face.
I thought you were yelling at me. More.
Faster. So adding a little interest here, like, oh, dangerous. Although I do think in animated movies, it's hard for people to really feel like there's real physical danger. I think it's always the hardest thing to pull off. Like, even if you're with the story, it's very difficult to really pull off. So I just tried to keep it interesting and not so big and intense.
This must have been so difficult with just one lighting.
Oh my God! I'll tell you,
Source.
our lighters, Julia and Catherine, and we just had brilliant people working on this, and they just worked tirelessly. Modeling all those cliffs was crazy, just for this one scene. I remember Olivier always wanted this to look like a toy, the little cars, and it really does look like a toy. We both always loved the Rankin Bass old puppets, and so you can kind of feel that. It has that old texture kind of thing. And also it was a conscious decision because we couldn't really go realistic with the faces and the designs because the animation it's much harder to animate realistic shapes than it is pushed shapes. So we had to go with a much more graphic, big, oh, here's Molly. I mean, when she does this monster thing. And so we had some great people who came in and kind of gave us some great jokes. John Hoffman and Dimitri Toscas came in and wrote some really fun actory stuff for us with Chris.
Yeah, really great stuff.
Yeah.
What? Yep. And if she had been evil, she would have let us all die. So technically, I'm the one who saved us. But no need.
Here I remember our head animator Yoshi really wanted his hair. He kept making these little adjustments, like, no, the hair in the face, like he's like gonna go crazy, like he's gonna go mad. So I really want him to be like, and then it got too much actually, and I had to kind of pull it back a little bit.
Love that we were like a moment like this. You got the main character chasing down another character with an axe, and and it's fun. It's like it's the kind of stuff that you would see in a Looney Tunes movie. But like I think if it wasn't Exodus making this movie, I don't think you would have no Scamper. You would have no scene like that.
Right.
It would be a different movie.
They really let us take some risks and do something a little different here, and it feels different. It feels. It doesn't fit into a category of, it's...
Yeah, there's some nice reuse in this scene of the cemetery.
That's
Remember
right.
in the background there, you can see all the skulls in the cemetery. We're looking for something, and it was we'd already modeled that, and it was a good way to put that in the background and actually give us some geography as well. Perhaps what did take place right outside the cemetery.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It was such a beautiful set, and when we cut the scene, everyone was like heartbroken, so we were like, why don't we reuse the trees and the skulls? And here that's a matte painting, but on the other side of her, you can see skulls.
Yeah, there they are.
Yeah, so that's the outside of the cemetery. Chris, one of the best jokes. You are so funny. I don't know how you do it. Chris can come up with Chris, can you do some punch up? And then 3 hours later, we have a new 50 lines that are all funny. It's amazing. I don't know how
I would
you do
love
it.
to lie and say it was just me.
Oh, come on.
But no, I mean, besides obviously you and I collaborating so much on the script, and John and Dimitri, when you make a movie like this, it's a lot of collaboration.
That's right. Absolutely.
The sun will come out tomorrow.
No, you missed it again.
Excuse me, Igor, but I think you're supposed to say cut.
That's for film.
Film? Can you imagine a face like that on a 40-foot screen?
All right. Now listen.
Excuse me, Igor. I'm a little distracted.
What?
I think the makeup girl is out to get me.
No, that's Brain. And he's not the makeup girl. He's the idiot. Now, try to remember on the word tomorrow. You're supposed to crush the evil invention to your left.
You mean stage left?
Now here we have Max really helped us out in this scene because I wanted tap shoes on the floor. So when you hear you got you got like a little tap shoes. So we went to Paris and we couldn't find tap sounds. So Chris
This
McKenna,
is the final sound mix, just 2 months ago.
2 months ago, Chris McKenna shows up and he's like, okay, I got my friend who's a dancer for the Moulin Rouge to give me her tap shoes. By the way, I have the secret code to get to the back of the Moulin Rouge. And everyone was like, what? What are we doing here?
I raced across the second to the last day of the sound mix. I race across in a cab. She's standing on a street corner in front of the Moulin Rouge with red high heel tap shoes. She gives them to me. I race back to the sound studio, and then I give them to Max, who then proceeds to put them on.
Max Howard, who's an old soft shoer. What do you call it? An old hoofer.
Yeah.
He's had his days hoofing. He graciously put on Moulin Rouge tap shoes.
Yeah.
He'll do anything for his people. That Max Howard.
Well, I know where I'm working next. Hang on.
I remember the last thing I did on the movie was that last night. I was leaving the next morning. I returned. Basically, it was 2 a.m. I got in a cab and went back to the Moulin Rouge and handed the right tap shoes.
Oh my God, that was your last
to her.
Ta-da!
And that was it. I'm done
That's
after
hysterical.
6 years on this.
Oh my
thing.
God, I know you were on it a long time. I was always wondering if I should have said fussy hands at the end when she does that. Always a day away, and then she has her big ending like fussy hands, but I think it works.
That's fun.
Yeah. So here, I love the little, Chris wrote some stuff, and then John Cusack did some great improv of the Reverend Dr. Igor von Igorstein, all this stuff.
Via Skype while you were recording in Thailand.
Yes, in Thailand. He was great. Now here, we were like, what is Eva going to wear? Max Howard, who's an old theater guy, was like, oh, well, she has to wear the robe and the neck, and then he, with the stocking over the head and the clips, and it's just so specific. It's just crazy weird. I love it. And then this score here, Patrick Doyle, oh my gosh, he just moves me.
Great use of lighting here, Tony, of her light really coming into his world. Mm-hmm. It comes through the window.
Yep, comes from her room. Yep, it's hitting him. He's on the fence a little bit. He's still in between worlds, and her orange is just so beautiful in this kind of drab world.
I don't think people realize it. Molly and John never together.
Not once did they record together.
None of the actors, I don't think.
No, they just have the ability to just put themselves in that place.
Yes, at the press event that we did, it was really the first time they met on the movie.
Yeah.
When they were doing interviews together.
And
And they were so beautiful together. They break my heart together. It's like the love story to me is really the weight of the story, besides the allegorical element, which I'll talk about later. But the love story, I'll see the orange of his patches and the orange of her. But the love story, when I first read this script, I got excited about it, and it felt to me like a Gothic romance. It had all the elements of a great Gothic romance, like The Castle of Otranto, or those old books where there's like the castle that's cursed, and then there's the innocent girl and the young guy. And so we just kind of became our tentpole.
Two classic talk show hosts.
Absolutely, Arsenio Hall and Jay Leno. So we had to build them a set. We had to build them another little homage is The Invisible Man, who is the press in our world, an homage to monster movies. And I think that I love that, we have a little allegorical element working here, which is,
So a nod to the classic book, Invisible Man.
Yep.
And Claude Rains, Invisible Man.
Did you say his butt? Did you say a nod to his butt when he was scratching his butt? Oh, book. I thought you said his butt. Right. So here we're kind of getting out a little exposition of how the king would never want the clouds to be in his world, and then we discover that the king's the one making the clouds, kind of keeping the people in the dark just for money. So the king is manipulating the people into doing evil. And in today's world, we have to question our leaders. There's a lot of countries that, leaders are doing some not great things, and we all have to question. And that's why I think this movie's so empowering, because it's about standing up and questioning authority. So here we just missed that little Schadenfreude scene. Here we have Eva. Again, you can see that little halo. Oh, Mr. O put that halo on there to really show that she is just like an angel. Actually, her costume, you can see it has stripes like the sun. She actually has a tattoo that says "Mom" on there under her arm, but no one can see it.
I didn't even see it until we were in the sound mix and it was on the big screen.
Yeah, you can see it. It's a scene later on in the film.
You can see it later on. But even her little collar looks like angel wings because she's kind of the symbol of hope in the world, and so she's like an angel. So it's like a halo. She's come down, and this is the scene where she starts to change their world. This scene was always like, oh, do we put it in? Do we put it out? And for a while I was like, what if blood just really gushed from Scamper's arm? And then I think we decided that might be too gross. Right, Max?
I think we did.
Yeah.
But we also nearly took it out of this scene completely because we felt that this should just be about Igor and Eva, the scene, and not about them. And it was in and it was out. And, but I think it's right to be in because I think it does say so much. Yeah, it does.
Basically with his song, which I think people felt like, oh, did you guys wrote this montage for this song? But no, we found the song afterward, and I think Chris Benstead did a great thing with moving the lyrics, around so you could have the lyrics not be on the Scamper and brain bit.
There's a great moment Chris wrote a piano part for himself personally playing the piano, so it looked as though Igor was really playing it.
So beautiful.
And we were running up against time, and although I knew I was going to get the rights for it to happen, we didn't get them in time and actually didn't do it. So
did we get the rights?
No, it's not there. The piano part's not there.
No, I know, but did we end up?
No, we would have done though. We know, and it was one of those things. We didn't have permission, and we couldn't do it. But we just wanted to really have a piano part. But you're dealing with a classic song that was written many, many years ago, and there's a lot of people rightly who have to say yes or no to it. But it was so charming and would have been great.
So this scene is obviously the crocodile, but I remember when I was kind of talking this over with Mr. O, the art director, I said, I want this to feel like Christmas Eve. I remember Christmas Eve, my mom used to set up the most beautiful, we'd have the tree was glowing and a fire and candles, and it just felt so homey and cozy. And so how do you do cozy in this kind of rundown castle? And so there was the curtains and everyone kind of, and the lighting, and it just became this beautiful cozy scene. And this is probably my favorite scene of the movie. Really, they start to, this also has a little element of like Wizard of Oz with the three friends, and he gets a heart, and Steve Buscemi gets a reason to live, and Igor gets to, aha!
Open yours, Scamper.
One great thing I forgot to mention is I love the brain. I love all the designs. Brain, using electric arc for his mouth is such a cool idea I never even thought of when I saw it. It blew me away. But also helped a lot too because we could change lines, we would change lines. I don't think people really, up to the last minute we were putting in new lines. I don't think it really matters with his mouth.
And even Scamper's teeth, we were able to, in fact, that line there it never worked. It used to be, maybe with its dinosaur aerotoxins will kill me. It never quite worked, but now kill me with its dinosaur aerotoxins, somehow that works the way it's structured because you understood where he was going with it.
There's something very early on we did with the character design for Brain is that when we were looking at the comparison of the heights, we were concerned that Brain character was very low down. So when he'd be having a scene with somebody, he'd be below the frame and very difficult to put in the same frame. And so the idea to have this concertina effect that he could elevate himself up to the eye line of the others, which is rare. And I think it's very clever, and it's given him a squash and stretch that really adds to his whole body language, which is really important.
Yoshi came up with that idea. It's so great to have him.
It's a necklace.
Yeah, did you struggle with? I mean, obviously, looking at the two of them right there, she's so much bigger than Igor. Obviously, that's part of the charm. But was it hard to stage sequences?
It was. We storyboarded, and we have two great storyboard artists. David Berthier and Yves Montagne were our storyboard artists, and they did such a great job. But what we found is when we actually put them in 3D, we would have to adjust the camera because there was really a height difference, and sometimes it's hard to do that in storyboarding. Sense Memory Journal is so funny. I love how specific it is to acting. But yeah, so we had to always be conscious of, and sometimes I wanted, like you can see Eva's head is cut off, and I wanted that intentionally. I wanted Eva to feel like she doesn't fit in the frame, she doesn't fit in the world. So I did a lot of that.
I want to tell her the truth. But lucky for us, I'm evil, right?
Yeah, lucky us.
I don't feel lucky.
Oh, Sean, I love that when he gets so real and he says, I don't feel lucky. It's so sweet. Like they're starting to really like her, and they're like, what are we doing? They're starting to question. We're kind of using her. We're manipulating her. And I love this, that he is kind of like starting to doubt his whole, gosh, is it worth it? Is it worth using someone to get what I want? Is it worth being evil to be a somebody?
It's so hard being a little little hunchback.
Jennifer Coolidge as Heidi. You can see the snake patterns in her hair even. In her dress, you can see the bottom of her skirt. There's snake heads. And this actually, Rembrandt was the inspiration for the lighting here for our art director. Our art director loves Rembrandt, and Rembrandt uses real emotional lighting. I wanted theatrical lighting. I didn't want it to be realistic, so just for emotion.
Rembrandt.
Ooh, fancy. Then we got real art. We like real artists. There's some great real. You know, we used obviously German expressionism. Charlie. He was a French guy. This is such a great. I love it. It's actually a TV fire. I don't know if you can tell, but it's one of those old cheesy '70s TV fires that we wanted to put on there, just to show like, oh, he's from the frying pan into the fire. Oh, and this is so funny between them.
I'm Eva.
I guess it's weird for me to say I like it so much, but I do like it. It's funny.
Two monsters meeting, but who's the real monster?
Exactly. This whole movie is all about everything is not, everything is on its ear. So the monster is really the sweet one, and the Igor is really the smart one, and that's something you had originally.
Blind
Chris.
woman isn't really blind.
Exactly. The blind orphans? Oh no, they're blind.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
I love her hair.
Right.
You have a very ugly face.
Those eyes,
Oh my
that
gosh.
cross-eyed look, that's what I was talking about earlier.
Great.
I really
We
like
had
so
some
many of her
great
expressions.
Pierre and Nicolas, two head of animators, did such a great job in Vietnam with these characters in this scene. And that was Jennifer Coolidge ad lib. You have a very ugly face, which just cracks me up. But some audiences, they go, like, oh no, because they feel so much for Eva. And then some audiences laugh hysterically. It's so interesting to see the different. So here's the sauna. We want it to be like Schadenfreude is like, hey, I'm giving you everything you ever wanted, Igor. Just work with me. So he's being lured to the dark side. You can see S's and snakes all through as a motif.
Pink and yellow, though. I feel like it's what's that Parker Hotel out in Palm Springs? So it feels like very that 40s, 50s kind of.
Absolutely. Ridiculous Hawaii luau. Now, here's a little, the French people love Magnum PI. And when I was like, put him in a Hawaiian shirt. And then they showed it to me, and then they added the mustache. And I said, why doesn't he have a mustache? And they were like, we love Magnum. We love Magnum PI. So it's our little Magnum.
I remember I finally in the sound mix. I'm like, why does he have a mustache?
Yeah, and it's penciled in because we wanted it to be like it's fake, obviously, like he didn't have a real. So here, actually, I did an early design of Igor before we even brought Valerie in, where his hands were in these long sleeves, like a straitjacket, and his hands weren't free, and we never got to do it because it was too hard. So we put that here in this costume. So I guess it would have been difficult to imagine the whole movie that his sleeves were covered, but like in a straitjacket, your hands aren't free. But see, like that. So we just used it like it's one of Schadenfreude's thing that he has to squeeze into.
I enter Evil Science Fair with your monster, and then I win.
This is one of those scenes where I felt like Eddie Izzard's performance. I mean, he's obviously so known as a comedian. I thought, though, the dramatic moments in this, I thought I was really.
He gives me
taken aback.
goosebumps. Eddie Izzard gives you goosebumps with these dramatic moments. And here's another example of I wanted there's a style in this movie that I just
His calves
wanted.
give me goosebumps.
Oh, well, look at them. I mean, they're
They're
fantastic.
crazy. I want calves like those.
Who doesn't? I wanted the actors to bring really interesting takes. And I didn't want to do, sometimes I feel like in animation, we don't get to enjoy the actors' quirks and personalities. So I kind of wanted those offbeat takes from Eddie and Jennifer and Sean and Molly and just let the camera sit and have it just be acting. I'm such a fan of those. We're both, Chris and I and Max, we're fans of those Guffman movies where you don't have to have lots of bits. You can just have characters kind of being weird and specific and odd, and it's entertaining. So that's what we kind of wanted to do in this movie. Like the whole slap it, kick it, call it Irene. I mean, I think some people think that's a dirty reference, but it's just a nonsense reference. I mean, it's just weird.
And his reaction is what makes it funny. Igor's, that look on his face.
Yeah, like of what are you talking about? And the yes or no thing, you're either with me or against me. I had a philosophy teacher who always used to say that. You're either with me or against me. That's why when we were working on this, I was like, oh, that'll fit. And then, Chris, you originally wrote a very elaborate scene here that we just couldn't end up doing, which was like, there was a ceiling fan, and he swings on the ceiling fan, remember? And it was really action.
I think it was a full-size swimming pool as well. At
Oh,
one point.
right. You're right.
I think at one stage, and I don't remember what stage, he is holding Heidi hostage. Do you remember that? It was and then it was like this giant, and it was like over a giant man-eating plant, and Igor saves her.
Oh, right.
It was a whole different thing there.
Right.
And then before, he knew that Heidi was...
Right.
Anyway, yeah, there is a lot.
Yeah. Here, Igor, I love this moment because he's really deciding between everything he wanted with the castle or what he knows is true, which is Eva and his love for her. He's starting to realize she means more to me than I...
Great continuity moment that he remembered to take his original costume with him.
Yes, absolutely.
It's such an easy moment, for him just to be running off,
Yeah.
And
I thought he was deciding whether he should ditch the beret, which I'm happy he did.
But he's carrying all of it. You remember to carry his clothes with him.
No, you never see it again, so it's great.
And if you didn't know, the shoes are just underneath, right?
I know. And I love this moment of Eva. I think who hasn't felt like just an ugly monster in their day, looking at themselves in the mirror, like being picked on at school or I'm not good enough. And you're just like, ugh, am I pretty? She asks herself. It kills me. I love it.
Yeah, I love that line.
Really funny. Now here the Spark Studios in Paris did such a wonderful job for us. It's amazing because they never did lip sync before. So their lip syncing was amazing, like in a feature. And that's an example of the lip sync's a little off, but that's only because we chose to rewrite the line at the last minute. Which is interesting. You kind of have to balance, okay, there's a lot of times we rewrote the line, so you balance, okay, is it worth it to do the lip sync or is it not?
Wait. No kissing Heidi.
Or do you like me better as Heidi?
Jacqueline, Heidi, Heidi. It would be really swell if you didn't go psycho girlfriend on me right now.
I'm not psycho!
Obviously not.
So now you can see here, her eyes are different from the other characters' eyes, and what you realize at the end is she's really an Igor, or an Igorette.
Your girlfriend?
So you never know who her real face is.
Then I'm Dr. Knockmeyer's girlfriend. Then I'm Dr. Groner's.
This one looks more like Jennifer than anyone, I think. This character is kind of modeled after her a little bit. And we try all different. Jennifer has so many voices that we just kept trying different voices. One was like a really tough. She's like, this is my tough woman voice. And I was like, no, that's too tough. She's so funny.
See, no beret. Ditch
no
that.
beret. He has it in his pocket. You're so right about the beret.
Yeah.
Right, he should have been wearing it.
No,
we have enough callbacks. We have the canister. We couldn't do another
I'm not
one.
calling you out. I think.
Thanks a lot.
Jeez.
So here you can totally
He
see
just hung
she
it
is
on the hook
sun
in the
this
hallway as you
world.
came through.
I wanted this place to look like kind of like old and run down, and we came up with that. Glickenstein's always working on his equipment, so everything else is just run down. Oh, and here she looks so beautiful. I love it. Valerie, our character designer, Valerie, did such a beautiful job with this costume. I mean, Valerie surprised us with so many costumes and always told the story with the costume. That's what I love, and the characters.
Yeah, because the costume is very like patchwork. I mean, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's still patchwork like
beautiful.
her, but beautiful, and she's still made of pieces. And I wanted it to be glittering, and I was like, can't we add a glitter ball? I want light to be reflecting and it to be beautiful. And Olivier came up with the idea that her gems would be sparkling, so you see my idea was a glitter ball, but obviously not as smart. Okay, this is such Chris McKenna at his best, playing with a piece of ribbon. Oh gosh, Stephen Sean.
That's pretty much what I did during the making of the movie. Just play with a piece of ribbon in the corner.
Yeah.
There's your mirror ball, though.
There's
you
the.
get
I
your,
know.
You
so
get the
I love
reflection
that.
of it. It's
Yeah,
great.
Exactly.
It's very clever.
The reflection, it's so beautiful. It makes it magical. It makes it a little fairy tale-y.
I also like there's something from a costume of the Orient. It seems like
Yes.
It seems
Yep. There's a little.
Far East.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
My ankle! It twisted like the pretzel, Igor!
See, here's it's not necessarily a funny line, but it's entertaining. It's funny. It's just twisted like a pretzel.
Who are you?
Someone who does not want your unique gifts.
The performances in the animation get so good.
And there's a real art direction change here, Tony, coming up as well, as you really took the
Yep. Absolutely.
colour out.
So here I wanted it to be like he's in a crocodile pit. He's really in it with Heidi, even though he doesn't know it. So I just wanted to stage it like that. Here I really wanted the animators to think Jennifer Coolidge with her lips, and I wanted like a lot of do-do-boo. We got there, I think, enough.
Wow. When it rains, it pours.
See, now here we see the art direction. It's become more desaturated because she's losing hope. So the color is draining from her and from the movie because he's basically telling her the truth that she was made to be a weapon.
No, you're wrong.
He'll never look at you and see a woman. All he will ever see is a monster.
Molly kills me here. Molly and Eddie.
Open your
Eddie is
eyes.
so evil.
Igor has someone else in mind for your role.
Here she's pushing him off. Oh, we got some high drama here, kids. And I was like, okay, it can't be too melodramatic. It was always the balance between drama versus melodrama. It is a melodrama, but it can't be too. Like here, we had a little shaking on her hand, and it was like, no, it's too much, it's too much. Okay, that little bit is good. So it was always finding that balance.
You had to believe that she would go.
Yeah,
that she would leave.
That she was
and had to support her for going and understand why she was leaving.
Yep. Yeah, he's been lying to her.
Yeah.
That
she was really taken in by that.
I always love that little touch with the locket.
Yeah, the locket falls and. Thank you.
I've made someone else. I mean, I've met someone else.
I also love that little touch with the knockers.
Yeah, that was our original French storyboard artist. You know, you could take a little more leeway in France. And I was like, no, the hands can't be there. Let's put them on the shoulders.
This isn't even the sexiest me. But come on, look at you. You're hideous. You really are.
So here's where
Kissed you.
she actually was actually thinking he is a little attractive.
You're a monster. And as we know, monsters only exist to be used.
And that's such a testament to Jennifer Coolidge. You know, 1 second she's doing the funniest, silliest voice, and then the next second she gets so evil. And here I just wanted to focus on the locket. I love scenes where you actually don't see their people's faces because it doesn't matter. It's just all about the locket and finding the locket.
And before you answer, you should know that someone sent me this.
That hand, we got a lot of mileage out of that arm.
Yeah.
My goodness, it was used as a prop, and it turns and it twists, and it's fun. It's like a little fun thing. And if you could tell, John Cusack, he stopped with his slur when he says, I did. It's the first time in the movie in front of someone that he doesn't use his slur because he's standing up for himself. And actually, in the animation, he actually stands up a little more from here on to the rest of the movie because he's not going with the cliche of I'm a hunchback. He's starting to, even though he does have a hunch on his back, he's
not an Igor. He's not just another Igor anymore.
Exactly. And I love the guards look like flutes. I love what Valerie did with those things. That's a matte painting back there. So we really mixed 2D with 3D. To really get the most out of our money.
Remember to recycle your Igors, kids.
That's right. Don't just throw them away.
I do like that, something that, again, a very kind of dark idea and, that we came up with, we were able to get away with because I don't think we would have
They let
other
us take some risks in this movie and just let it be a film. And hopefully that comes across. It's not, everything isn't so PC and safe all the time.
Like this guy, pantsless. He's
pantsless. I love the whole obsession with pants. It's just a crazy thing
really
you put
weird.
in, Chris. That I just love it. So we couldn't afford a lot of people, so you can see there's no people there. So you go back and forth on what you can. Even the huge budget movies, you have to like pick and choose your battles because these things are so hard to make.
Yeah, we did a lot of mix and matching of characters, right? Switching heads, switching costumes between
Absolutely.
people who
Different colors.
Yeah, so everyone is in that early scene with Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
At his party.
Right,
all of those
right.
characters basically the recreation of the crowd, but we switch costumes around, switch hats, switch this, and build this enormous crowd. Love this one of the bouncing Igor.
Yeah, Igor
bouncing Igor. That was so great, Chris. That was one of your ideas that just.
Well, it was funny. I think one of the original ideas was when he's torturing, and when Schadenfreude's torturing his Igor early on in the script, he shoots him with one of those.
Oh, right.
And then he's bouncing around, and then we took that out, but we thought that would be a fun thing.
Right, for the crowd.
On 3.
And here our sidekicks step up. So, Scamper now has something to live for. He has friends, and he loves Eva, and he loves his friends, and so he has a lovely little arc from someone who's like, what's my purpose? He finds a purpose.
And Brain gets his little revenge for Scamper pulling the switch on the count of one.
That's right. We paid that off, absolutely.
And this is what happens to us.
Well, some people say, they call Scamper in some of the reviews a cat thing. I'm like, come on, look at those ears.
A
Look at
cat.
those teeth.
They do. They call him a cat. It's so crazy. Now here you can see we didn't put it's a flat cloth because we didn't have we didn't put a cloth sim on it, cloth simulation, because we thought we could get away with it, so it just hangs like it's been like starched a lot.
I think it's one of the great scenes coming up where you're really aware of the sound and the sound mix and the work of Thierry Lebon and Jonathan Miller. And just really making this work and really giving this great sound of this recycling that's about to happen to
You're
them.
so right. Mergitor, the sound people, Sammy and Fred and Thierry.
Eva needs you, and you're the only hunchback that can stand tall and fight.
So here we have a little brain arc. We have a brain arc where he's saying something really genuine and smart. You're the only one that can stand up tall, and so he has his little arc. Oh my gosh, they're gonna get it.
This is the first time I've gnawed my own feet off.
Such a controversial line. Who would have thought that would be so controversial? But people, when they see it, they're like, "Gah!" Well, little did I know rabbits actually do gnaw their feet off. Sometimes.
Great inspiration for this scene. When we went, we were looking for this passageway, and somebody said you need to visit the catacombs in Paris.
Absolutely, that's
where
right.
all the skulls and bones are when they moved the graveyards from central Paris for the new modern design of Paris. Well, modern. It was built in the 19th century. And this is our inspiration for this, the catacombs.
Yep. Yeah, we were originally going to have beautiful, what they did with bones. It sounds gross, but they have the most beautiful designs with like skulls and femur bones, and they make these patterns and walls. And we were thinking of doing that, but that's just a little much. It gets a little creepy.
Went to a great rave there. No, I didn't.
Yeah, there is a whole underground world in Paris. It's so cool. And now these next drawings are our character designer, Valerie. We actually brought her in after to come and do some designs for us. We couldn't really model them because then we'd have to model another like 15 characters. So we just decided that's a little homage because Max is British. A little British. Max's mom and dad, I guess. I don't know. Oh yeah, so it's great to have Valerie's actual drawings in the movie. Because a lot of time these people do the drawings and then when they get modeled, it's not their work. So it was great to have that.
I love this cut coming up. It was sort of some stuff we didn't post.
Yeah.
But, with my friend George Folsey,
Yep.
great editor, and Old House and Blues Brothers came in and helped it a little bit out in post. And
Yep, came in and helped us.
if you look closely, that's actually not geographically correct.
It's
but,
not.
you know,
But it works better.
It's
It
fun
works
cut.
better. Like this whole geography, though, this whole skeleton with all the skulls and the weather ray, it's a difficult thing to get your mind wrapped around anyway, so you can cheat it.
So funny because some of these lines are just so new. They
make us laugh.
Is it a beacon?
Whoa, where are you going? And bring me back a toy!
So here we have big magnets holding it up, and that was an early cut. I mean, we went in again and trimmed this up. He used to take a longer run up there. So here is where we discover the truth. That sometimes politicians aren't even honest. Isn't that crazy? So, it's kind of the morality story of our time with what's going on in our world. There's just so much stuff going on, and we just, as people, we all have to stand up. And the idea of the movies, we have to be responsible for the role we play. And that's Eva's an actress, and so that's kind of the allegory, and I think it's a good one.
The irony is, I love when it's cloudy.
Is that true? I actually do. I don't like the sun. You do too?
Sally, even like Sally, we both like when it's cloudy out. We're like,
Me
good.
too. It's so comfy. I'm the same way.
That's typical of Southern Californians. That's what anybody in the rest of the world. They like the sunshine.
We don't get weather here.
I'm so like
but
that.
It is extraordinary, though. We've been dealing with a comedy and somewhere in a world. It was one of the challenges when we set up the movies that this place where it's cloudy and dark all the time and it perpetually raining. I think was in your original script.
That would have
and
been.
you're trying to tell this story and you can't do that because you're used to playing comedy against bright light. And I think it was one of the great challenges we moved forward was how to tell this story and use light effectively. And I think really pulled it off. But it's for me, and you suddenly see a blue sky for the first time in the movie, and you're in the last 5 or 6 minutes of the film.
We really wanted it to be a shock to the audience. We wanted to keep it dark unless Eva was around, and then so once you see it, the audience is almost like, "Whoa, what the heck happened?" So it really has a lot of impact. So that's why we saved our lights, and again with the whole Eva's light theory thing, we keep her as the sun and the thing of hope. And here's where Eddie just did a beautiful job of luring her, trying to make her do something evil, just trying to get her to activate that bone. And Molly is just so picked on until she just it's almost innocent. She just pushes him away, but just that little act of evil. And we did a lot of tests, obviously, with effects on how we can do the evil bone and how do we make it. All that stuff. We had great effects team and led by Azad and Matthew. Azad is our compositor. So much that's important in animation is compositing. Here's a little thing that no one gets unless you're really like a musical theater fan, which is We've Got Annie. It's kind of if you're a musical theater fan like I am. It's a little play on that.
We've got Annie. Malarians, let's get evil.
So anyway, compositors are so important in this process because they put everything together and then have to make it work. So they take 2D elements and 3D elements and lighting and shadows and blur, and it's just really, so much of the movie is made in compositing. I love how we can see the textures on things. We wanted it to be a textured world. I felt like it needed to be really textured. I wanted the characters to tell the story with their costumes, and so it's designed that the backgrounds would be kind of subdued and the characters would pop. The characters would really just be the center of light and the only thing you really need to look at. So we really use light as whatever you need to look at.
Such a fan of Rankin Bass, as I know you are too. Did all the old Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Frosty and Mad Monster Party. But there's moments in this movie where I really feel, because those were all stop motion, right?
Yeah.
You really feel like these are textured.
Textured
real
characters. I wanted it to feel real. I wanted to feel like you could reach out and touch. And again, we're all such a fan of Rankin Bass. And even I think when John Araclis, before I was even on, when he bought the project from you, he originally said, "Oh, Rankin Bass, like Rankin Bass," and they're just, the shape play is so interesting. And we had a great guy who came on, Chris Ure, who's a great designer, and he did some wonderful early shape designs for us for the characters. And he's the best at like coming up with shapes, and we kind of use that as a little bit of a, to get our shape play. And here we just have all these monsters, and they all are represented. They all are connected to their masters, they're scientists. So the baby one that looks like he has a baby head, who used to have a scene in the movie.
Yeah, Dr. Kinderman.
Dr. Kinderman, he's the one that makes the big teddy bear, the monster teddy bear. The big fat scientist is the one that makes the big ball. The woman, the forest scientist, played by Mylene Klass, who we love her. Dr. Holtzworm, she's kind of like a foresty theme, so she made the man-eating, whatever
plant
that is.
monster.
Yeah, man-eating monster plant. So here comes Eva. So it's such an absurd reference that she's in. Oh, Chris McKenna, line for Chris McKenna, the writer.
I think we all tried out for that line.
Yep.
Definitely
Chris
proves
made the grade.
I have a face for voiceover.
I couldn't agree more. Now this was, when I first read it in the script, I was like, for real, Annie in an Annie costume going to be battling monsters. It's so surreal and so offbeat. I just am very proud of all my people and everyone that worked on this who helped make this great, because I just love this. I think it's so absurd. Chris, how do you think of this? It's so bizarre.
I thought of what was the most evil thing she could do.
Right. Dress like Annie?
Yeah, and sing tomorrow.
Sing
and
tomorrow
beat
while
up other
she's.
monsters.
I mean, it's amazing because
it was just taking once she. Once he came up with the idea, like that she wants to be an actress, and then this whole thing is going to be an audition, and the idea of her doing it to Annie just seems so absurd. And luckily, people with Annie, got it and allowed us to do it.
Yes, the Annie people, they gave us the rights to the songs, and I think they understand that the movie's all about hope, and really that's what Annie is about. It's about hope and how the sun will come out. And so this is a kingdom that's trapped with hopelessness, and the message is the same as Annie, which is if you believe, it will come true and you will have hope. So it's really Annie's such a beautiful musical, and I think hopefully we did them proud with this. We used to have a funny line about, she's almost at her big finish, and Scamper says, and when that fat lady sings, it's really over. But we needed to put more explanation that it's a weather ray.
Molly really got into this.
Molly's singing
laugh
this.
right there, like a little girl.
Yeah. She did some really funny little weird takes. That's like she's so good at it with her characters, her acting. Here he's in his total dragon costume. You can see he's all decked out with. I want those dragon glasses. Look at those.
Come on, you have them. I want his goggles. Honestly, those cool goggles during the chase sequence. I'm gonna.
Super cool. Super cool. And just the beauty, I mean, the team that designed, I mean, just beautiful design work. And the crowd, it's so hard to do crowds in CG. William Unterreiner did the crowds for us. He did such a beautiful work with the crowd, and the crowd really just comes to life in the background scenes.
Demolish this thing.
We're all gonna die! Except you!
Oh, yeah.
Selfless suicide.
Selfless suicide. He sacrifices himself for his friends. I mean, even though he does come back, obviously, but I love Scamper's whole hopelessness to hopeful arc. It's so surreal, and so this is where we already set up that on her big finish in the rehearsal, she's going to tear everything down. So hopefully the audience is remembering, oh, right. But just in case she didn't, they don't, Igor says it. So her big finish is just going to kill everyone.
Wait! This isn't you! I did create you to be evil. And I'm sorry I lied to you. I lied to you about everything.
So here's where he comes to truth, and I love just Molly sounds like she's been so betrayed. So here we get kind of the idea of the movie.
Igor, she's an evil invention.
No. Everyone has an evil bone in their body, but we choose whether or not to use it. And as someone I loved once said,
It's hard to talk over the emotional stuff, but here I really wanted her to just be still mad at him and furious and feel betrayed and monstrous. And it's only when he says the words that she said, and that it's better to be a good nobody than an evil somebody, and that he loves her, that the sun comes out. So he, his journey is kind of the bringing the sun to come out for everyone. And the question is it the evil bone that's being deactivated? Is it his words? What is it? How does she go against her programming? And at the end of the day, we all have an evil bone in our bodies, and we choose whether or not to use it. And I think that's such a great little idea.
I'm Eva.
that is the correct answer.
Igor, I felt like I was in a dark, horrible place.
We all were.
Wait! What's happening?
The end of Malaria's evil role in the world.
Camera 2.
Oh, there's the tattoo on the arm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's the mom
There it is, you see?
tattoo. She looks pretty in
Yeah,
a tattoo.
because you see it in the Annie costume. That's
Right,
the
you
thing,
actually
'cause
can
in the earlier
see it.
costume with her arm is covered.
Yep.
He lied to us. We trusted him and he lied to us.
See, and there's all our friendly faces in the crowd.
Absolutely. All the crowd is made up of everyone we've seen.
But we don't. None of us.
Oh, John Cusack kills me. He's so genuine and so real.
This is outrageous! He has no proof! Where's his proof?
And now King Malbert meets his end. Live by the sword, die by the sword, basically. Evil begets evil. And he ends up dying, which is, well, maybe not. Scamper says he'll be okay, so maybe,
Long live King Schadenfreude, everybody! King Malbert the Lion!
And he's still trying to capitalize. One of our evil scientists is still...
When you bring the sun into like a scene like this, does it change like what you're doing with the color or the design?
Oh, everything. It's like a whole new scene. You have to relight everything. So everything gets recolor adjusted, but you have your sets. You build the sets just like live action, and then you just light them. So we had the sets, but now because we built everything to be kind of dark, and so that we have to relight, you have to almost rethink everything. I love that little Jacqueline change into her real persona, and you just see the silhouette of, is it a little Igor? What is it? And then we discover it later. And here's where he gets what he wants. He said in the beginning he wants everyone to cheer his name, but he gets it in an unexpected way. I love that in movies when movies do that. We didn't invent it, obviously. Okay, those drawings that Valerie did of as musical stars on the side of the building.
Pretty great.
I want those posters in my house. People have asked me for those. Part of our whole allegory thing about politics and everything is the invisible man is the press, and he's pressuring, he's invisible, because sometimes you feel like, where are the hard questions? Why aren't they answering that? They're almost like they're invisible. It's an
Who's
homage to a
asking the
monster.
hard pants-related questions to our leaders?
That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. I think the world is asking that question. We used to have much more with Schadenfreude and the pickle thing, where Jacqueline kept reminding him about pickles. Why don't you make us a big batch of pickles? And ended up, we just couldn't. We just ended up taking that stuff out.
Pick me up at 7. I'm gonna go home and shave.
Jennifer ad-libbed that. I'm gonna go home and shave.
Hey, Scamper, have you seen Eva?
No, go away. Hans, you're wearing this
I love this.
What are you, blind?
Chris, that's Steve does it perfectly.
Yeah.
You wrote that beautifully.
I think when we first recorded that line, we only had just not quite enough of him saying it.
we
We went
needed more.
back in just to
Yeah.
add so you really knew what he was
Yep.
saying. But he said it in such a charming way.
And this is Taya Howard playing the beautiful girl, who's such a great little actress. And Sean does such a great job there with that Mr. The read on that is so funny.
Yeah.
And here's so we have this little callback as to the canister, and of course this is my dog. I always tell everyone. It's a drawing of my dog who I left and I had to go make this movie for a year and a half, and I missed her so much, so I put her in the movie.
Mislead. You thought he was going to build a baby.
He thought he was going to build a baby. So great. So even he has a yellow tuxedo because now he's all full of hope. The kingdom is full of hope. So all the color, it all tells a story. You could watch it again and learn so much about the characters. Now this, I wanted one of the orphans to fall off the stage, but Max wouldn't let me. So we just had him go backward.
Just that little compromise. Just
Exactly, the
stage.
little compromise. Now this I loved because this is it's an echo of the previous scene. It's an echo of the previous scene where they're sitting on the balcony looking out and the world is all evil. And now they're looking out into the world that they've changed. So I staged it the same way so you feel like, wow, look at what they've done. Look what their love has done. And it's funny, people, I just thought this was a really fun song. And people are like, oh, that's so naughty, the blind orphans sing it. But I think it was hopeful. But people are like, oh, the blind orphans singing it. It's so subversive. I guess it is, but I always thought it was being kind of sweet. But
So there we are. But it's interesting. What we got coming up now is 7.5 minutes of screen
Wow.
credits, which was a bit of a shock to us, But when you put together one of these films, you realize that they're made literally by hundreds of people.
Of
And it's only,
dedicated-
bringing all of those people together, you can make something like this work. And this film has a long history. Chris, when did you first pitch this to
I believe it
Exodus?
was, I think I pitched it to them in like October 2002, but then we didn't even end up, I think, coming together on a deal until 2003. And then wrote a few drafts for you guys. And then Tony came on, I believe, in August of 2006. Then
Yeah,
Tony and I
yeah.
went away into a dark laboratory with the script.
And I think for a while, when I first came on the film, we were actually going to make a short.
right.
Based on the film, which we were going to use as a calling card. We're going to take it around to the studios.
Well, I
It
was
was going to
writing-
help us raise money and put together a distribution deal.
Right.
And then, thankfully, we never made the short. We ended up getting a distribution deal, getting all the financing together and move forward. And Tony, I think at that moment you came onto the film.
Yep. I came on and Chris and I worked and, kind of we adjusted things here and there and, added, took out
It was-
and,
No, Tony came up with, and you and Dimitri and John had so many great ideas, and then we just basically locked ourselves away for a few months. And
kind of made it.
And then never stopped working on it up
Never,
until the last,
up until
honestly.
the last. For being Olivier Besson, I miss your the best art director, my goodness, and Christelle and Yoshi. We really just were able to. The way it worked out was we had to start shipping things to be animated, but Max and the Johns, McKenna and Herakles, they figured out that if we could start just shipping parts of the movie, and then we could keep working a little bit on, because we didn't have that much time to redo stuff. So anytime we could squeeze in to make little changes and plus it, we did.
Well, I think, it was actually finding the right studio to make the film and where to make the film. And I think, as Exodus, we try to set up this whole business model that we have for independently produced animated films of putting the team together and then finding a studio to work with.
Yeah.
And I think, when we first went over and looked at the Paris studio and doing it at Sparks, suddenly seemed to be the right location, because I think we felt, this is a European-inspired world.
Yep, absolutely. We wanted to make it feel like a European movie and not just what we could do here. So that was one of the thrills. And in Paris and in Europe in general, they have such outrageous animation. They have pushed eccentric animation. And so they really embrace the idea that let's just do something different and Dr. Caligari and German expressionism and just make it look really pushed.
So you packed up and moved to Paris, both of you, for how long?
A year and a half.
We started, I think we arrived in Paris on November the 1st of 2006. And we started, it was such an accelerated schedule, but we try to look at making the film in every aspect of it, making it a different way. We really try to, lock the script. Then we storyboarded. We did a 3D animatic, which was a departure on how you normally set up an animated film in terms we did a 3D animatic that had animation in it. We did models of the characters that could actually move, so it was very, very detailed. And then part of the idea behind Sparks Animation Studios, they have a studio in Vietnam.
Oh, there are the names.
In fact, there they are.
Yep.
There's our great
so brilliant.
Vietnamese crew, and there's a.
Oh, here's the thing. Can I just say, Nicolas, Pascal, Patrice, and Pierre, they did such brilliant work. Really, the lead animators in Vietnam, really getting the subtle acting. And I'm sorry, Matt.
Yeah, well, I think that's right, because our journey was very much based in Paris, which is where we storyboarded and set up and designed the whole film, and it's where the movie was finished in terms of lighting and compositing. But the animation for the film was actually done in Vietnam. And Tony and I spent, quite a few weeks there. In fact, the whole of January of 2008, we were there, working directly with the team. When they first came onto the movie, they spent 6 months in a training program just getting ready to animate this film. And that team over there worked so hard, and I think did some great animation under some great leadership. But we're thrilled with the work that they did.
Thrilled, and really to think that this all started, Chris, with your idea. And just that you came up with this world. We wouldn't have anything if you didn't come up with that idea. And John Araklis had the creative instincts to buy it, and Exodus. And
my favorite, sorry to interrupt you, my favorite screen credit on here. Do you remember Simba? We got a little screen credit, just went up for top dog, Simba.
He passed away.
He passed away, but he was one of our crew in France. It was his dog, and it was the studio mascot. Came to the studio every day.
Oh, I love that dog.
Was very elderly dog called Simba, and so we wanted to. He was a part of the crew.
He was I know I felt guilty putting my own dog as the picture rather than Simba. But hey,
you gotta get over your Greek Orthodox guilt, Tony.
I'll never get over that. I left for a year and a half. I miss my dog, so she had a right to be in there. All these great music by all this score is Patrick Doyle, by the way. Oh my gosh, brings so much to it, and gosh, we're very.
So
lucky.
we made this film in all sorts of places. We were US, we were Paris, we were Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. We scored the movie in Bulgaria with the Bulgarian Symphony Orchestra. We recorded all over the world. We recorded John Cusack in Thailand, in Canada.
Yep.
We recorded in New York and in LA and Santa Barbara and London. There's great international flavor to this.
Absolutely,
to this film.
And hopefully, I think it feels like it. People are like, "Oh, it's different. This is what we wanted. It's different. It's hopefully has a voice." So we tried.
So there's a great list of thank yous and people who really helped us do this, because of the independent spirit of what we've set out to do here, which is that there can be an independent animation world where studios such as ours can be out there, putting together films that could be made outside of the studio system, and really in a celebration and a reflection of the wonderful independent live-action world that there is out there, with many great films made every year. And that was our goal, and how we brought all this together. And our great distributors in the US MGM, who've just did such a wonderful job opening the film for us here.
Absolutely.
You know what? Basically, we leaned on a lot. We basically used a lot of very talented people to help out. Obviously, in every facet of production and writing.
John Araklis' mom, in memory of it. So nice.
And you see all the production babies that we had
I know.
going up there, because that's a reflection of how long it takes to make these movies. And
did you guys have any?
I didn't have a baby.
No, Chris? No babies? You didn't have one?
I think you had a cow a few times.
I think we had a cow more than once.
How many chicken breasts in Paris did you eat during the making of this movie?
Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Thank you to everyone who helped on the movie, and we hope you enjoyed it.